Hey everybody, look at this beautiful landscape we have today. We've been out here at this campsite, just enjoying all the beauty of nature. Look at these trees growing up. You got to see the morning sunrise coming out. It's just been amazing. And I just got to thinking, how in the world is all this thriving, not just surviving, but thriving out here, and yet nobody's watering these plants, nobody is fertilizing them, and nobody's even planting them. How in the world? Just want to share a few things about that come to mind. If you want to look down here, Jonah, we can come in a little closer. Look at this layer of all kinds of decaying matter on top. One of the main factors of making soil healthy is to have a covering, have a layer of decaying organic material. What happens is the rain falls down, little droplets are going to hit these leaves or hit these wood chips, or hit these little, see that we got a little bit of plant foliage going on, and there's a moss over here. The drops of rain are going to hit these instead of hitting the soil. If they were to hit the soil, they would splash and the soil would be dislodged and we'd have erosion occurring. Also, as this material all starts to break down, this is sending all the nutrients that used to be in these wood chips or leaves or branches, twigs. All of that is turning back into material that and nutrients that can be taken up by the trees and the undergrowth. And that brings me to another point. Look at the structure of this forest. We have the larger, taller trees, and then below that you have the second story of more tallish bushes or trees. Then after that, you have all the understory underneath here. Like we have all kinds of, like, there can be new trees coming up, but also just bushes that are going to stay small. This is where a blueberry, raspberry, you know, rhododendron, usually those types of bushes that stay smaller, they thrive underneath the understory of all these trees. And actually these trees are fertilizing these bushes. Also, we have the seasonality of the different, you know, spring, fall, summer, winter, and you know, even if you live in a rainforest, normally there's a rainy season and then the more dry season. We have to think in terms of how to manage the soil in the different seasons. Like right now, we're letting all these leaves drop and they're just going to settle down, and those will start to decompose now, and then that means in springtime they will be ready to have seeds come in and start to have that spring growth. So for me, I like to start gardens in the fall, because in the fall we're going to have all these leaves fall down and they start decaying over the fall and winter. I like to start gardens in the fall by doing a thick layer of mulch and compost, and all winter and fall long those are breaking down, and then in the springtime everything's ready, it's been decomposed, all those nutrients are ready to just be taken up by your plants. So let's contrast how mankind has tried to garden, how to take care of the soil, how to provide this kind of abundance, with how this is happening without any human inputs. In creation, we don't have any fertilizer, we don't have any irrigation systems, we don't have any erosion problems really. You know, like we said, we have all this material that is on top of the soil. They're ready with that mulch covering. The erosion is controlled. The moisture is going to stay in the soil because there's not as much transpiration, evaporation going on, and we have it's just like the perfect system for those seeds to bounce out of the soil with just so much vibrant life. So really, in my opinion, it's better to do it the way of creation, by mulching in the fall or even the winter time, letting that break down, and then in the spring you have that covering, you have the new nutrients coming in, and those can just come up. Another aspect that makes this all thrive is we don't have just one type of plant here. Like in monocultures out in our fields, usually we have like all corn or all soybeans, something like that, and that causes pests to come in, and they really get good at eating that one crop and resisting any kinds of pesticides that we put out. So it's better to have a diversity of crops, just like we have these oak trees, these pine trees, these lower bushes here, and then even the lichen and the moss. And there's, I mean, I bet there's at least, what do you think, Jonah, like 100 species here at least?
Oh, probably more
more.
like 200 or 300.
Yeah. And yet, they're all working together. If there's one plant that really thrives in a space and it has the right lighting, the right soil conditions, it's gonna just take off. Whereas if we had a monoculture, you know, we would not be making as much specific use of each niche, each little area of the landscape. So as edible landscapers and as gardeners, it's our job to shepherd spaces, shepherd our soil towards abundance. So look for the niches, look for the ways that creation, nature is already thriving in different spaces. Like if I was to come in here and help them do an edible landscape, I would incorporate blueberries because I've seen wild blueberries here. I would incorporate some grapevines because right down there we have all kinds of grapes growing up the trees. I would incorporate, I think I've seen some raspberries around. So I would just look at what's already thriving and plant the more cultivated varieties of those plants that are really going to produce some good food. Let's look at creation and see how it's working already on the ground, see what's working, and then copy that over towards using in our edible landscapes, our pots, or our container gardens, whatever you've got going on. There's something you could learn even from your backyard. Look at the types of grass that are growing. If it's more sage grasses, usually your pH is kind of low, it's a little lower. If it's more Bermuda, then a little bit lower pH. If it's more fescue, you have a higher pH. You can kind of read soil based off your plants. There's all kinds of fun things we could go into. We can go learn a lot more from creation, but those are just a few things that on the top of my head as I'm out here enjoying the beautiful views and good times with my friends. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the beautiful views just like I am. That was awkward. Let me end it again.
Okay.
So folks, to wrap it all up, let's watch creation and copy over what we can, learn from what is working, and improve that, being soil stewards, soil shepherds, and just improve our soil by using the natural systems that already work. We don't need to add in fertilizer, we don't need to add in all kinds of crazy systems. We can use our ingenuity and machinery and just creativity, but we don't need to try to like micromanage every little thing. Let's copy over the natural systems that are already working. Yeah, it's fun to do that. It's fun to know that you are taking care of your space. Hope you have a good one. God bless and enjoy the good views.